And welcome back. Okay, to the Dish on Reality.
With Tonia and Trina.
And Trina. Okay, I was letting you say your name now. So
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Big sister. I always want to take over.
Oh, that's so true. I do. I really do.
Yes. But now we have our segment called Relationships. I know most people pronounce it relationships, and that's what some of y'all have because yours is not real. But
we're going to get a real relationship. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have an expert here, Dr. Natasha LaMarr of The Wives Inc.
Yes.
Yes. I love that shirt.
Thank you.
That's
yes,
very nice.
It's awesome. Okay. I met Dr. LaMarr last summer through my friend Dr. Moss. And we've been friends forever.
Yeah,
I mean, yes. So I am so glad to have you here because you really know your stuff. People need to know about you. People need to know about the Wives Inc. They need to know about the workshops that you do. They need to know about your new book. They need to know. Talk to us. Talk to the single women out there. All the single women out there. All the single ladies. Talk to
gosh.
You guys did an outstanding job introducing me. Like she mentioned, I am Dr. LaMarr with The Wives Inc.
Yes.
And The Wives Inc. is an organization where we prepare singles, we enrich marriages, and we strengthen families. And so I do a lot of work with couples, and also I do a lot of work with blended families.
Okay. Good.
So if I'm a single woman, I'm 40, and I want a husband, help me. What I need to do? I know a lot of times we need to start with ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yes, you do.
Absolutely.
A lot of times it's you.
I know you just bringing all the luggage. You know how they say you bring your luggage from one relationship to the next?
Absolutely.
You done brought all that to the
Absolutely.
next. You show up at the doorstep, you thinking Delta outside. You got so many bags.
Exactly.
And a man don't want to put up with all of that.
Showed up.
You know,
Because they have their own. They got their own stuff.
That's
yeah,
true.
they hide it.
You know what? I don't even really think they hide it. I think what happens is we act like we don't see it just because we want a man,
Yeah,
right?
they say I got a husband, so I
Absolutely.
got a man.
Yeah, that's it.
And he got all them issues.
But we all have issues.
But you got them.
And so just understanding, like you just mentioned, just understanding what is it that I need. Because people sometimes get confused with needs and wants. So needs are necessary for survival. A want is something that you can do with or do without. And so you need to know what it is that you need in order to maintain a healthy relationship.
Yes, that's so true.
Yes, now that's true. A lot of times, a lot of people carry issues from childhood into adulthood,
All the
into
time.
every relationship,
Yes.
and they want everybody they meet to fix it. Not just the relationship they're with the opposite sex, but even their friends.
Yeah.
They want. And it's like, okay, that's too heavy for me. I can't be your friend right now. I'm going to pray for you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to see the Dr. LaMarr. Because she got some systems. Because I ain't got time for
I got
all
my
that.
own issues. I can't handle yours too. I don't have time for that.
Absolutely. But I think a lot of people don't understand that they really need counseling. It's not a bad word.
Yeah.
Well, you know, within the African American community, it's taboo.
Yeah.
You keep your stuff in the house. You don't share, you don't talk about it. And so that's why we're struggling within our community. It's because it's so much shame. And you guys know it's shame. Or it's secrecy, it's shame. And so people don't want to talk about it. People don't want to expose who they are because they don't want to be judged. But the thing about it is you have other people in other communities, they're getting help.
Yeah.
And so they're thriving. But we in the house suffering and dying and struggling.
Yes. That's so true.
Wow. A lot of times when you have blended families, because a lot of, with our age, most people, if you're single around our age, most people you meet, they probably been married before.
That's true.
They probably have
kids.
some children, and it just depends. Now, they could have a newborn, because a lot of things happen around this age. They could have a newborn, they could have a child in middle school, high school, or college. So I think it just kind of depends on where you are. If you have small children, you really want to be with somebody that likes children.
Yes.
Yeah. So you get those kind of questions and people come to you for help as far as, I can't stand my boyfriend's kids. I mean, how do you...
Well, you know what? Believe it or not, blended families are the leading styles of families today.
Wow.
And there's no resources out to help people. And people are really suffering, again, with this blended family. And that's just not within the African American community. That's like worldwide.
Yes.
And so, it's about teaching children how to have a voice, teaching adults how to have a voice and how to make it a unified system so it's not so divided. Because a lot of times, children want their parent to be with their biological parent.
That's
true.
And so sometimes it causes a lot of jealousy and frustration, and children are, it's this tug of war.
Mm-hmm.
And you have adults in the tug of war as well.
Yeah.
So it's not always
Yeah.
the children, sometimes it's the adults
It's true.
that are jealous of the children.
That's
Or the
true.
relationship that the spouse had with the other spouse. So it's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
Yeah, because my son, he told my husband and I, he said, you all can never get a divorce.
Wow.
Never. He told us that when he was like 8 or 9 years
That's
old.
awesome.
And
Wow.
it was funny because he didn't know what cheating was. So if I was out somewhere and he was with me and I spoke or talked to another man, he'll get home, Daddy, Mama was cheating. She was talking to another man.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Yes,
Wow.
but I mean, it's funny because my husband and I, we have a great relationship, so he knew it wasn't anything with that or whatever. But you know, like you said, kids, they want to see their parents together.
Absolutely.
They don't want to see their mom with another man or their dad with another woman.
That is so
that's how
true.
it is.
That is true, and it's hard. And I think a lot of times people are not sensitive to the needs of the children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Adults are really selfish sometimes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like you gotta share. It's a blended family.
Yeah.
The common goal is for all of us to get along, to love each other, and have a
Yeah.
happy family.
That's
But
true.
you got some adults out there. Actually, this was years ago. I had a client, and she was dating this guy, and he had a teenage son, and she's like, I can't stand his son. And when she said that, that showed me her character. I didn't even want to work with her anymore, and I
Wow.
didn't. I actually stopped working with her for another reason, but that just never left me because I was like, you got issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because who says that about a child?
Who says
know.
that? And she probably hadn't even communicated that to the guy. But
Yeah.
see, some of the problem is we take like this microwave approach versus a crock pot. Meaning you get this family together and you think they're just supposed to bond and mesh, but they don't. It takes time.
It
You know,
does,
and so
yeah.
people just want stuff to be instant, you know, instantaneously, and it just doesn't work that way. And so I had a call, a woman called me the other day and she was asking me, when should I introduce my child to my boyfriend? And it's like, first of all, if you think that if you just jumping from man to man, then just
No.
don't
That's
introduce
everybody
anybody.
uncle, everybody
right?
uncle,
Exactly.
yeah.
He got like 12 uncles.
I know, right?
And ain't none of them biological.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's the blended family. But
Yeah.
as soon as you begin to realize that you're serious, that child needs to be involved. Because
Yeah.
what happens when the child don't get along with the man? And then that could potentially break up something that you guys have worked on.
That's
and you
true.
shouldn't force somebody, even though you love them and he's good
Yeah.
to you and vice versa, you shouldn't force a person on a child because children are young adults.
Yeah.
They have feelings. They hurt just like we do. And so you should, you know, be open with your child
Yeah.
about your
Children are discerning, though. I
Absolutely.
mean, I remember, this is so funny, years ago at one of my Keller Williams office, my Jacob was like 3-4 years old, but he would come to the office and he would speak to certain people, but it was this one girl, and she was a good friend, but every time he saw her and she was like, hey Jacob, he'd be like, I would be so embarrassed, but she did have a lot of
Issues.
underlying issues that I didn't know about at the time, but children are so discerning. He picked that up. He's like, oh no, lady, you got issues. Get away from me.
I know, she got safe.
So I do think that's a good point because I think you kind of want to do it kind of early on, not too
Yeah.
early, but you fell
Yeah.
all in love and your kids hate them and
Yeah.
they hate the kids.
Yeah, and they hate the kids.
Yeah.
Now you got to choose.
No, that's bad. No, that's bad because you should never choose an adult person over your child.
Yeah.
Period. Because a child is a child for a reason.
Yeah.
They need that
Yes.
support. They need that encouragement. They need that love. They need that, and so that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, but
And
people have
do it
done
all
it.
the time.
Women, you see stories all the time with the
Yes.
woman
Yeah.
met a guy. She's at work. The guy killed the baby. He didn't really like kids. Your
Yeah.
baby was crying. He snapped. He got issues, but you never got to know him to know he had them issues.
First of all, I find that hard to believe. If he hurt that baby, that wasn't the first time, and he probably
Nope.
hurt her too. Right?
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
so people are who they are. People show you who they are. Have you ever been in a relationship and something happens, you say, "Oh, I can't believe it." You know what he's capable of. We know what
Yeah.
people are capable of
That's
doing.
true.
Right? You know,
That's
what I'm saying?
true.
Just like you
Yeah.
know what you're capable of, you know what other people are capable of.
Yeah, like people claim like once they get married to someone, oh
They
he
change.
changed. No, he didn't. He
He
was
did.
cussing you out before you before y'all
And
walked down the
cheat.
aisle. Yeah, cheat. No, you think just because you
Absolutely.
walked down the aisle, oh we married, he gave you a ring, he's not cheating anymore.
He
Girl,
get worse
stop.
because now he got you.
He got you.
No, I'm just joking.
He gonna still be the same
Yeah.
man he was before.
That is so true. Now tell us about your new book.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, so I wrote a book. It's the 21-Day Habit Journal. And it's how to change negative habits to positive habits. And you mentioned something earlier about oftentimes we bring in issues from our childhood, and we they end up manifesting in our relationships. And so sometimes if we grow with insecurities, we end up looking for a spouse that will reinforce some of the issues that we dealt with when we were a child. Have you ever met a woman that's been in a domestic violence relationship? It's very rare that a woman that's been in a domestic violence relationship is just was a first one. It's a pattern, and it's because we draw to us our insecurities. We draw to us the things that hurt us the most because we're familiar with it. It's almost like growing up in a household where your parents curse and fuss. 9 times out of 10, you'll end up getting to make that cuss and fuss, even though you didn't like it, but it's comfortable for you. It's familiar.
What's that saying you said about the streets of hell?
Oh yeah. People will stay in the streets of hell just because they're familiar with the streets. Well, people will stay in really bad relationships just because they're familiar with the negative. So people will stay in hell just because they're familiar with the streets.
That's
the
deep,
truth.
ain't it?
Okay.
That's deep. Yes, but they do. But they do.
And it begins to manifest in your children. And so that's why you'll find a lady who was in an abusive relationship, her daughter is in an abusive relationship, and her daughter is in an abusive relationship. The same thing with child molestation. A parent that was molested, 8 times out of 10, her daughter will end up being molested. And it's a vicious cycle.
Wow.
And so unless you begin to talk about it and you educate yourself on what's safe and what's not safe, the cycle just continues.
Yeah, you got to really talk to your children. I talked to my son at a young age. I was like, listen,
Good
there's
touch, bad touch.
certain parts of your body nobody should touch.
But the doctor with my permission.
Exactly.
And I'm in the room.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So okay, Dr. LaMarr, tell people how they can get in touch with you and how they can get your book and all that good stuff.
Good deal. So you guys can go to my website. It's www.thewivesinc.com, and that's THEWIVESINC. And my office is actually located in Brookhaven. My number is 404-585-0867. My book is on Amazon, and we're pretty much sold out. And so please, if you'd like to get a copy, reach out to me, and I would love to get you a copy.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
LaMarr,
you
for
for
stopping
having me.
by.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Now, when we come back, we have Mrs. Yolanda Brown, and we're going to talk about virtual technology. What's going on in technology right now? We know that, especially the millennials, oh my God, they're all over technology. That's how they communicate. I'm like, Jacob, you're in your room. Stop texting me. Okay, guys, so we'll be right back with Mrs. Yolanda Brown.